Welcome, air signs, to your weekly predictive reading for the week of October 5th through the 11th. So, this is all the air signs. This is Gemini, Libra, as well as Aquarius. And this could be your sun, moon, or rising. So, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on for you during the week and how you should navigate. So your first card is the King of Pentacles, which actually seems to be coming up often for the week reads as a whole. So ultimately this week, you're thinking about what you want long term. You're thinking about your financial security. You're thinking about your entire empire. Like, that's what is the most important part for you right now. And so for you, it starts from a mental capacity. For the Gemini, it'll be the thoughts. For the Libra, it'll be, the thoughts that create feelings or create a sense of comfort and beauty and things like that. And for the Aquarius, it is that uniqueness. It is that, what are you doing that has not been done before, that it makes you feel like this is what I want. So this is what it's telling you that you want at, the beginning of the week. So this is around like Monday or Tuesday. Something's going to be coming up that makes you think about that kind of stuff. And then the Nine of Swords is a representation of what keeps you up at night. So you will want that so bad, but in order to get there, you might feel frustrated. You might feel like you don't have what you need. You might feel like you are not good enough. And so whatever it is that you want makes you frustrated at night. But then we have this little bird here that is just letting us know that it's like, these are internal demons. These are internal battles that you're facing. Swords being that mental aspect. And so really, it's more of like you're making it harder on yourself than you need to, but you might get something like analysis paralysis, where you think about something so much, that then you get overwhelmed, or you're just like, and this can happen if you have a lot of air sign in your chart too. So be mindful of that. You have the Second of Wands. There's this feeling of wanting to go out to explore and to just make it work, but you want to start on like an elementary level. Like, you want to start on the basics. Like, you feel it inside of you, like, okay, I want to take an action. And you know how air signs are. Air signs are, all about the mental aspect, all about the belief, the mental strength of, bringing things forward, and how do you work from that level. And so here it is, it's like, okay, I want to take this action, but you still feel confined. You still feel like you're inside of like a location in which you can't be freed from. And so you're just like, oh, I want to get out, but you don't feel like you have enough momentum, enough energy to kind of like escape and go. But it's just like, oh, like I want something. It's like something is like, a universe is calling me to stick with this card, because it's like you feel confined. You feel like there are things that are bigger than you that are holding you down, and yet you have something in you that's like, I want to go after this, I want to get this, but it's not strong enough in order to kind of break the walls down yet. That's how you feel internally. But let's see what else is going on. And then the Eight of Wands, which is, so this is actually going to be a remedy for this. So the Eight of Wands can be two things. It can be strife. It can be things that are happening to you, or it can be things that are happening for you. So it's all about the momentum. Like, when they're talking about if you're going upstream, you're going against the tide, it's so much harder. It feels like you're confined. You can't do it. But if you're going with the tide, you don't actually have to use any energy. And because you feel so confined, you have to figure out during this week of October 5th through the 11th, you have to figure out how to use the momentum of the energy around you in order to get where you want to, because it's less about you taking an action and more about you working smarter and not harder. So that's going to be the theme for you this week: smarter, not harder. Let's see what actually is happening as well, because there's this duality of what's going on for the week. So the Five of Swords, which again represent this mental anguish, this feeling of being frustrated, but not the one that you're staying up late at night, but the frustration, like, what do I do? I've tried these things. I keep on trying to do these things. They're not working. And like, but then it's just like, it feels like your frustration is almost like you are frustrated, but yet you also see other people doing well, in the same place as you. And that brings a sense of frustration, because you're like, hey, I'm trying to pay attention to everything that's going on here, but I don't really know what I'm doing wrong. Is it me? Like, you're asking yourself, is it me? And this is also the Five of Wands. So Five of Wands is an indication that you're striving for something that feels out of reach to you. You're striving to go to a place that you feel like you don't have access to, and you just feel like all over the place. So the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands, with those five numbers coming up, it's just there's going to be five things. People, situations, places. There's going to be five things that happen to you this week of the October 5th through the 11th that are really going to signify this struggle that's happening for you. And then we have the King of Wands. So ultimately so there's a lot of like this wand energy, which is giving me the indication that you feel like you have been held back from taking actions that you wanted to take, and that you want to be able to take these actions. You want to have this momentum. You want to go out there and do these things, but just for some reason, just things are you have not been able to, or it feels like there's a lot of conflict, or maybe things feel like they're coming at you. But the King of Wands knows that, just like the King of Pentacles, knows when to take an action, knows when to rest, knows when to work with the universe. So again, the theme is still, you got to figure out how to use this momentum of the universe in order to get where you want to, because it's an air sign. It's not a fire sign. It's not an earth sign. It is an air sign. You have these mental principles that you have access to that you need to use and allow the fire to work with you. And the last one is death, rebirth. So the death card is always a favorite. It's a fan favorite. And the reason why is it talks about endings and beginnings. So you're finally at a place where you're ready to move on to your next evolutionary path here. You're finally at a place where you're ready to ascend to a different level. And this is actually your final time. This is your, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This is your final test to get to the other side. In fact, it's good that you have this mental anguish. It's good that you feel confined, because if you figure yourself through this, you're going to get to another level. You're going to elevate yourself to another level. And so what you have to do is just really work on not feeling like stuck by these things. But let's see what the connectors are telling us. Six of Wands, basically the in-between is you're going to be presented to people. So this is going to be something where you're going to, you see how with the Fifth of Swords, it was like you're doing things, you can't really do it. And you see other people working like the same places you're getting there. If you balance these things, you will be that person. You will be the person who gets there. Because what do we notice about the arms? The arms are up here and the arms are up there. So it really is actually representing your shadow side, the side of you, like which one is going to win? The one who is in anguish, the one who's stuck, the one who's going to stay the same, or the one who comes out triumphant in front of an audience, in front of people? Because the universe really wants you to glow up. The universe really wants you to be a leader, or inspirer more than anything. Wants you to share your excitement for life, but you have to go through these things first that you feel limited on the physical aspects, the physicality of doing it. But in actuality, you have to use these other air principles in order to get there. Also, the Devil card. So when I was talking about death, I was actually going to say the Devil card is one of the most important cards too. And people can get so afraid and so scared of death and the devil. And I actually think that these are one of the best cards you want to have in your reading, because it's talking about the week of October 5th to October 11th is going to be a profound week for you. It's going to be one of the most important weeks that you've had in quite a while. And what it represents is you have these strings attached to you, an old way of doing things, and just an old way that you felt tethered to. It really represents all of these things that you feel like have been working against you. And the Devil card reminds you that that's what's happening, sending you validation that that is what's happening. You have not been able to go forward. You feel stuck. You feel like you're not able to kind of go to the next level in life. You're not where you want to be because there are all these things holding you back. And a lot of it starts internally. A lot of these different systems were put in place internally by yourself or by your environment environment or things like that. And now you got to free yourself. If you do not free yourself, you will always be attached to the devil card. If you do free yourself, you're talking about, you know, ascending to another plane, ascending dimensionally, ascending to the next level. And then the 8 of Cups, which is going on this internal journey, going on this soul journey, going on this journey forward. Like, that's what you're going to start feeling towards the end of the week on Thursday. You're going to feel like you're going on a journey that doesn't even have to be physical. It doesn't even have to be you're, you know, walking somewhere. You're going to be at this space on Thursday where it's like, I'm going on this journey and I receive it, because where you're walking towards is you're walking. You see these two bright suns and stars and things like that? You're walking towards the light. You're walking towards your destination. So this is actually a really good read that, you know, no matter what you do this week, air signs, you're going to get there. You're going to get to the end, but it might feel really shitty in the beginning of the week because there's just so much going on. So try not to have an emotional breakdown. Try not to have a mental breakdown. Try to take, you know, time to yourself, because you're being tested in order to get to that death rebirth, to ascend to the next level. And then 10 of Wands. Yep, it's coming up in a lot of reads. You're going on a journey. It just says that you're going on a journey. So use this information to prepare yourself. You see, they got everything that they need because they're preparing themselves here. So use the information that you're getting here to prepare yourself. And then we have the Tower cards, where the things in the beginning of the week are going to feel like they're falling apart. And it's a good thing because you're breaking the devil down. You're falling apart. All of these things that were, you know, in place, they fall apart. And then the 4 of Wands, it's talking about having a good time. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to, or the end of the week, towards the middle, Wednesday, you're going to actually start, if you're getting the lessons, you're going to start to enjoy what's happening, and you're going to have fun playing with this energy to the point where you start to actually have a good time. Like, you know that your soul is trying to move on and go on a journey and go forward, but you actually start to have fun at a certain time in this week. And it's saying, you know, it's skewed towards the end of the week. And also the Justice card. So the Justice card lets us know that you felt that you were being held back for a long time. And even though you did as best as you could, and you've tried as hard as you could, and you've tried to be a good person, you felt like you were still being held back. And justice is indicating towards the end of the week, which lets you know there's a sense of delayed gratification. It has not been forgotten, all that you have done in your life to sacrifice, to strive towards your future. It has not been forgotten. So do not lose faith. Let go of all of these other stuff, okay? Because you see all this shitty stuff is happening towards the beginning of the week, because it's talking about the cycle of going through something and then learning and then getting to the next place. Justice will happen. Have faith. Justice will happen at the end of the week in order for you to get to where you need to go. So Geminis, you know, try not to have like a mental breakdown. Try not to overthink it, be overcritical, because, you know, Gemini and Virgos have that overcritical thing about them. The Geminis are overcritical about their thoughts, and the Virgos are overcritical about the actions that they have taken, or, you know, the things that they have done or put in place. And so Gemini, try not to be overcritical, because you're definitely going to struggle. Definitely going to struggle with breaking these mental chains, because they're like air. They're like breathing. You know, the analytical ability of you is like breathing. So being able to be a little bit more objective and realize that not every thought that you have in your mind is law. It's just not. You know, there are some things that are going to work better for you. Libra, it's going to feel like someone around you, because, you know, your relationships with people are so important. It's going to feel like something around you. So maybe this is finally letting go of a toxic relationship or toxic environment, things that, you know, it could be family too, like things that have really been weighing you down. You got to let that go, and it's going to feel very tough for you. in Aquarius, it's going to be, you know, the old you and the new you. It's pulling, you are the sign of the unique, you are the sign of the revolution. So even though you're forward thinking in who you are, you can still have some of these old habits that are really backwards thinking to you. And you're so clever that you can finesse it so well to make it seem like this is not really what's going on. But this is actually not for nobody but you. You gotta be very objective with yourself and say, I'm not gonna let these old habits take advantage of me. I'm trying to move to the next level. I'm trying to ascend. So I hope you enjoyed this weekly prediction for the week of October 5th through the 11th. Use this, prepare yourself for that week. It's going to be a transformative week for you. I also do the elemental reads, and I also do individual astrological reads too. So stay tuned for that and learn your sun, your moon, and your ascendant, which is your rising sign, because then you can pay attention to all of these reads and really have a full perspective of what's going on for you during the week. But subscribe to your girl.